Right, so hopefully we're live and hopefully the sound is working. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm just going to crack on. So in this stream, I'm going to be going over a solution for a little OpenTX problem that Paco put up in the INAV fixed wing group. So basically what he wanted to do is have a channel that would toggle a switch on and off on the aircraft to turn Bluetooth adapter on and off. So some slightly different things. He has his ARM switch on a pot, so we'll look at a nice neat solution for that. And also we'll show how to set up the OpenTX logic for his specific settings. So hopefully some of you guys might find this useful. And yeah, if not, at least hopefully Paco will. Okay, so let's get on with the intro. Wrong button. Okay, so I'm just going to dive straight into OpenTX Companion. It does the same as what's on your transmitter, but it's just going to be easier for everyone to see. So what I've got, this is a model that I've already got. I've just gone through and stripped out everything other than the telemetry because we want this for one of the settings on this model. So basically he wants it to do a few things. First of all, he doesn't want it to work if the voltage is less than 4 volts on the aircraft, and he doesn't want it to work if the model is armed, because then you're effectively flying, so you don't need Bluetooth. But we can put delays on that so that you could arm it. There'll be a slight delay just in case you want to check something while you're armed and then disarm. And that's basically it. But as I say, he's got his ARM switch is actually on a pot. And one of the issues that he had was the center point of the pot wasn't overly accurate. So it's looking like the stream's having problems. Look, well, hopefully it's caught up. So just to briefly cover that, because it looks like it's live again. Right, so he has a voltage he wants to check. If it's below 4 volts, he doesn't want this to work. If he's armed, he doesn't want this to work. But if he's disarmed, he wants it to work because that's when his Bluetooth is active. And as I was saying, which hopefully it got on the stream, is the arming is actually on a pot. Excuse me. The arming is on a pot, and the problem with that is you don't actually have a nice specific point. It's got a detent, but you could be out either way, and that was one of the problems that he was having. So what we're going to do is, even though it's on a pot, we'll make it act like it's a switch. So what we'll do is we'll check that first. So we'll go into logical switches, and what we're going to do is add less than, and this is going to be on S2, which is the pot he wanted to use, and 0. So it's nice and simple. Basically, he wanted to go left for armed, right for disarmed. So if we simulate that now, what we got is we want logical switch 1. So we're in the middle. We go to the left, it's armed. Go to the right, it's disarmed. So not only does that give us a nice switch over point, it actually gives us something that we can use as far as logic goes, but also we can output it to INAV or whatever you want to use. I mean, obviously INAV in this case. So it's a nice known clean switchover. So no matter what we want to check logically with this, we know that the arm point is always exactly the same. So let's create our arming input. So we'll call this one arm. The first line is going to be armed. And we want the source to be logical switch 1. Wherever it is. There we go. No, actually, sorry, that's wrong. We want the source to be max. We're going to set this to -100 because obviously you may know about the free sky bug. So if we arm at the lowest end, so around 988, 1000 microseconds, it will stay armed even if it glitches. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm setting this to -100, but also because he was turning the pot to the left, there's a pretty good chance that his arm range is on that side, so it should all work faultlessly with his system. And we'll set this switch up to logical switch 1. I see Arthur's joined in the chat. Excellent, thank you, it's working. It's always great to hear. Okay, so that's our first part of the switch. So that's set up to be armed. And what we're going to do is add a line which will be disarm. Again, we're going to set this to max. This time we'll keep the weight at 100, and the switch is going to be not logical switch 1. So, okay, that. Now we just need to do a basic mix. We're going to use the input for ARM and OK. So now if we simulate this, what we'll see is our arming channel, which is 5. We're currently disarmed. Oh, sorry, we're currently armed, but that's actually right because we're on -84. If we flip to this side, we'll be disarmed. If we flip to that side, we're armed. So we have our RC channel that's working exactly as we want. And we also have logic that we can use to build on to do what we want. So the next part is he wants to send out, obviously, this thing to channel 5, which is for turning on and off his Bluetooth. So the first parameter that we needed to check is that there is voltage to his to his model. So what he wanted was the telemetry for the battery, which I should have in this list. So VFAS is greater than 4 volts. And what we can also do is add a switch to make sure that we're getting telemetry. So we just set that to telemetry VFAS. So if we haven't got telemetry, this won't be working either. So what I can do is show that working. So we've got a logical switch 2. And if I bring up the telemetry simulator, and what we'll do is we'll turn on the telemetry. And VFAS, where are you? It's currently at 0 volts. So if we set that to 5 volts, it jumps up to, or it switches on logical switch 2. So above 5 volts, we go 3 volts, it switches it off. But also if I put 5 volts in and turn off the telemetry, that should disappear as well. So we know that voltage side is working. So we have here the main things that we need to control our switch. So we want it to be, trying to remember what it was now. Hi, James. So when it's armed, he wants it off. When it's disarmed, he wants it on. So what did I do? I worked this out earlier. This is the problem with live. I didn't work this all out. I'm going to have to check my own work. Sorry about this, guys. Right. Oh, yeah, sorry. This was actually doing a different solution. I can start over. Thanks, Lauren. Right, so it's actually a lot simpler than what I came up with last time. So instead of, before I had a delta because he only wanted it if I thought he wanted it if it changed, but he just wants it if it's working. So we can use an AND switch. So what we want is, we want this in the disarm position. So we want it not logical switch 1. And we want power, so we want logical switch 2. So this is really simple. So what we can do is just get this working in the first instance. So what we want to do is going to set up another input. So he wanted it on, sorry, channel 10 was his arm. So let's, so do I move it? No. My OCD is telling me to move it, but I won't. So we're going to set up channel 6 as the Bluetooth switch. And we're going to have on, and the weight for this is 100. And we're going to, again, set this to max. And then we're going to use logical switch 3, I think we're on. Yep. Okay. And now what we need to do again is add another line to this, which is going to be off. And I believe the weight was actually 100. Oh, sorry, 0 when it was off. So we'll set that to 0 and not logical switch 3. Okay. So what we should, actually we shouldn't have anything yet. What we need to do is pass it through to the mixer. So again, this will be Bluetooth, and this will be input Bluetooth. So if we simulate that, what we'll find is the arm and disarm will do nothing as far as the Bluetooth's concerned. But as soon as we start getting telemetry and our voltage is above 5 volts, you'll see we're disarmed. So that has now switched on the Bluetooth. Actually, has it? No. What have I done wrong? Right, so I've been an idiot. There we go. Not logical switch 1, but logical switch 2. Live is brilliant. I don't know how Matt Ogborn did this. So much easier just to record it. Okay, so let's get back to it. So we've got our telemetry. We'll set our VFAS to 5 volts, which now we're disarmed. So now our Bluetooth switch is switched on. If we arm the model, it switches off, which is the 0 position. And also, if we lose power, so we'll put that to 3 volts, it switches off. If we lose telemetry, it also switches off. So that's the simplest way of doing it. So what we can do is, if you wanted a delay, so with you, hi Jason, so if you want to have a delay when you arm it, so you can still have Bluetooth for a little bit once it's armed, what we could do is add another line in here to give us that delay. We'll need to make the logic a bit more advanced, but what we'll do is we'll move this one down, which I found a really useful thing is, if you move it in Companion, it actually moves all the logic behind it as well. So if I go into the inputs, you can see it's now on logical switch 4. That's a really nice touch. I didn't know it did that. So so now what we want to do is, we want it so that when you arm, there's a duration. So what we can do is just set it up really simply. So logical switch 1, so when that's active we're armed, but we'll just give it a duration of, I don't know, 2 seconds. You can obviously set this to what you want. And then what we need to do is add another one. So we move that down again. So what we want is an OR. So we're looking for disarmed, which is actually that's not going to work, is it? Oh, yes, it will, because it will turn off. So we want not logical switch 1 or logical switch 3. Then we can change this one here to logical switch 4, and this hopefully should work. So let's turn on the simulator. Let's get some telemetry. Give it 5 volts, so that side's okay. So if we're disarmed, so we have logical switch 5 is active, which is now controlling our channel. Logical switch 4 is active because we're disarmed. Logical switch 3 will become active once we arm it, but should stay active for 2 seconds. So if we arm it, that should stay active for 2 seconds, then the whole lot disarms. Sorry, the whole lot switches the Bluetooth off. So what you can do is, say you wanted the Bluetooth on for 20 seconds after you've armed, so then you can still do stuff on Mr.D or whatever. Just change this to 20 and it will work. I'm not going to demo it because 20 seconds will take forever. Hi Paco. I am a bit of an idiot sometimes, don't worry. But hopefully this is useful. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions or anything I would need to go over in a bit more detail? Oh, I don't think so, but thank you. Corey, the Bluetooth module, I believe, is so Paco can use the Mr.D app. So I'm looking in the wrong place. So yeah, so basically the whole thing is